Hello and welcome to The Studio Demands It, an exercise in creative thinking where we'll challenge ourselves to conceptualize, pitch, and craft a film based on the demands and stipulations from one of you listeners acting as the hypothetical Hollywood overlord. We talk movies all the time.
All the time.
And as screenwriters ourselves and avid cinephiles, we'd like to believe we can meet the demand, any demand that is thrown at us. We will be your screenwriters for this episode. I am TCD Witt, and joining me as always is Jim Locked the Car Burzelic. Hi, Jim.
Hi.
You locked your car.
We are sure I locked my car?
We did. I saw the lights flash.
Okay, good.
How many times do we go anywhere and we're like
Minimum 2. Minimum 2.
every 2 times?
No, every place we go,
Yeah.
I need to lock the doors a minimum of 2 times.
Yeah, but how often do we get like out of the car and then 5 minutes later you go, did I lock the car?
Oh,
Like every
yeah,
time.
every time.
And then I start
No,
trying
I'm
to tell
sorry. All the time.
all the time. Jim locked his car. It's very funny. It gets me a good.
It actually frustrates me that I can't remember.
Well, I should start remembering more to remind you.
But you shouldn't need to. Whatever. This
I get a good. I gave you the nickname "Lock the Car."
You did, and so we must talk about it now.
There's a world where you always lock your car, and this never ever occurs. But we're not in that world. We're in this world.
Well, the thing is, I do lock the car all the time. I just never remember,
Oh,
so I have to go lock it again just in case.
Boop, boop. Well, every key fob, you click it once,
Yeah.
ka-gunk, and then you click it again, and you get a honk,
Yeah.
as if to say, click, 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 click. Yeah, you locked me.
Yeah.
I'm locked. Yeah.
And then I always forget the honk.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, did it? I don't know.
So we were just discussing the combination of worlds.
We were.
So this gave you some time of at least a couple minutes to remember what movie combination you had thought of.
I was not thinking about that. I was thinking
What do
about
you-
if I locked my car.
Fast and the Furious is a Universal property. So
Yeah.
is Jurassic Park. Is there
Mhm.
any reason Jurassic Park and that franchise couldn't exist in the Fast and the Furious universe? For and you know what? I say that, and I'm going to answer it real quick. I think the Fast and the Furious universe is too crazy for the Jurassic Park universe.
You know what? I would have agreed with you until Jurassic World.
Mhm.
The Jurassic Worlds, they go kind of a little fast and furious with the dinosaurs.
God, this is sort of breaking the wall here. I'm so tempted to not do what we were scheduled to do
and to do this
and
instead.
just keep doing this instead. But we'll keep the momentum for what we got planned here. So, is there any reason that Dom Toretto can't be racing away from a T-Rex? If they're not going to do time travel, they might as well do dinosaurs.
Which is just a variation of time travel. No, they should do that.
They should do that.
Yeah.
They should combine Fast and the Furious with Jurassic Park.
Yep.
I have to move this chair.
Uh-oh.
It's rubbing against something, so I keep hearing like a.
Oh, I hear it now.
Well, maybe it's just the chair. Maybe it's not.
Oh, it's just squeaky chair.
It's just me. Oh God, this is
Squeaky chair.
Squeaky chair.
Welcome to the episode.
TC Squeaky Chair Duets. Your car's locked. Stop checking.
No, now I'm imagining Fast and Furious with Jurassic Park. I'm trying to quickly come up with a title for
Jurassic Fast Rast Jurassic and Furious.
Jurfastic.
Jurfastic sounds like my Jurfastic is acting up over here. It's so furious.
And the nope.
Jurassic.
I can only portmanteau so many words.
Parkurious.
Yeah. Parkurious. That sounds like someone who's curious about parkour.
I'm very park curious. Jurassic Park and the Furious. Park and the Furious?
Fast and the Jurassic Park Furious.
Ugh. No, it doesn't roll off the tongue. JPFF.
JPFF?
Yeah, JPFF.
Yep.
Because the last one was F9.
Yeah.
I
was thinking like J5, but that's Jurassic 5 is a band.
Yeah.
So
I have a Jurassic 5 song. Doobity boop. Doobity
I love Doody Boop.
Yeah. That's the name of the song. I wasn't making a joke here.
I know, Doody Boop.
Jurassic and the Furious. Okay. why don't we get started? You listeners have given us a growing collection of demands from studios literally all over the world, and these demands have been submitted to us at studiodemandsit.com, on Twitter at studiodemandsit. You can send us the demands, any demands you like, and we will have to make something up right here on the spot. So thank you for everyone who's submitted. Keep them coming. And today, you do know what we're doing.
I do.
We had a little bit of heads up on this one because this wasn't necessarily an IP, and this would have been a lot of thinking if we didn't have at least an idea of what the demand was. So I don't know if you've fully read the demand or if I just told you the premise of it. I can't remember what where you were at.
I think because we were on the same email chain actually for that one. So I think I read through the whole thing, but
Okay.
why don't you remind me?
Well, I will read the demand, but the nice thing here is that despite sort of having a heads up, I don't know where you're going to go with this, and I don't think you have, and we'll see where this one's going to go. So this comes from Mike Sullivan at, I'm going to call it open-ended demands because he didn't name his studio. So
okay,
Sully. This is from Mike. Here we go. I've been given a lot of thought lately to characters who were killed too early in their respective films. The example I'd like to use is Adele from Alien vs. Predator. I mean, obviously, you know who the character is.
I do.
I don't need to remind you of Adele being in Alien vs. Predator. You know,
she died in that movie before she went on to have
a very successful Grammy
music career.
Never mind, I'll find someone like Adele from Alien vs. Predator. Everything about her character design and general competency and acting ability made me think that Adele was a total badass who would be a factor late in the movie. She was the first to figure out how the earlier victims of the sacrificial chamber had died. She was the first to react when they were attacked, and none of it mattered. She died in the first act. R.I.P. Adele. Yes. So funny enough, I just casually rewatched Alien vs. Predator before we got this demand, so it was sort of fresh in my head.
Why would you do that to yourself?
The Red Letter Media guys did the commentary track for it, and I wanted to listen to them crack wise through the whole thing, so I passively watched it.
That's a reason to subject yourself.
Now, this is different from someone like Switch from The Matrix. Switch was a great character too, and I certainly wish that the character had been around longer, but at the same time, her death was meaningful, it was earned, it resonated. Hell, her death scene is mimetic to this day, and he's not wrong. And the fun thing I like about Switch is we've come to learn after 20 years of the existence of that film that they intended the character to be male in the real world and female in the Matrix. Because the Matrix is supposed to be your true self, and knowing what we know about the Wachowskis now, that tracks really well with who they are as people. So back to Mike's demand here. What the studio demands for this particular episode is for the two of you to each come up with a film character who died too soon in his or her film. From there, I'm going to give you a lot of leeway. There is no prohibition when it comes to genre or setting. I just want you to come up with a prequel story so you don't have to worry about any sort of machinations to bring anybody back from the dead that will elevate those two to lead characters in their own film, and tell me about the sort of adventure they had gone on. P.S. If either of you chooses James Marsden's Cyclops from X-Men: The Last Stand, you are absolutely dead to me. Come on, Mike.
That's my whole idea.
What's wrong with James Marsden's Cyclops?
I think he didn't die. I think he was
nobody, no death.
Well, I think what happened is he actually disapparated. He didn't burn up. He disapparated from that world, and he apparated in the DC world and married Lois Lane.
There you go. Simple as that. He's like, you know what? Screw this. I'm leaving. I'm moving to Metropolis. I'm going to find a...
Yeah.
Mike doesn't want us to talk about James Marsden's Cyclops.
Too late, and now we're dead to him.
You can't say don't think about pink elephants. We're going to think about pink elephants.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the premise, is taking some character and or characters who were gone too soon that had the potential to be so much more and come up with a movie out of it. So this is that we do have a lot of freedom in this.
We do.
So I've made a short list of some of the characters I could think of that I thought, I wish I knew more about these characters. Some are going to be, you're going to say, no, we already know enough. And others you might be into. We don't have to decide right now, but the demand of this has to be set before their death. We could easily come up with a machination that they're plucked from their death to do their own thing.
Free Jack.
Free Jack. We could free Jack.
Everything is Free Jack.
Every time. I need to watch Free Jack. Jim brings that. That's a Free Jack. Add that to the Free Jack counter.
McJaggert is best.
On the wiki or the subreddit.
Yeah.
Add another tick to the Free Jack reference from Jim. So we could. I don't necessarily think it's impossible to just go, well, this character's death might play into a part of them getting plucked away. And for example, we could do Cyclops from X-Men Last Stand because we never saw his body. We could just say, you know what, he was.
But we saw his glasses, and he doesn't go anywhere without those.
He doesn't go anywhere without his glasses, guys. It's my ruby red.
I can't not blast without my glasses.
It's my ruby red quartz glasses. No, I can't. That's right. I can't not blast without my ruby red quartz glasses. That's the Cyclops I want. Yep. Come on, people. Cyclops you're missing a huge out. Cyclops.
Give Cyclops a lisp, a speech impediment.
Listen, Professor Xavier.
My name is Cyclops.
Actually really quickly turned into Quiz Kid, the kid from Venture Brothers.
Yeah.
Hey, look like this. Hey, Dr. Venture over here.
Boy Genius. Billy,
Boy Genius.
I forget his superhero name is Billy Quiz? Boy Genius? Something like that, yeah.
That's the lisp that I'm doing. So Cyclops, right.
Conjecture injectures. So, how can I help you?
I'm telling you, that looks like the lead singer of Depeche Mode. And other Venture Brother references go in here. Shout out your own right now. Let's just get that out of everyone's system. Yeah. Go ahead, shout out your favorite Venture Brothers reference. We'll wait.
The Ure is dangerous. Oh, not me.
Not you.
Not me.
I was giving the listeners a chance.
My bad.
Shout out that. Well, go ahead. You do the Ure one.
The Ure is dangerous. Dangerous? What are you talking about? It's a device that will help mankind. I don't even know how you turn it into a weapon. And that's from the pilot.
There you go. Okay, and now everyone do their own. I love that one. Okay, so I have a list of a couple. I've only jotted down the names, and I didn't give much thought of what the potential of these characters are.
Looking at my list, I broke the rules a little bit.
Well, that's okay. All right,
a little bit.
How do you want to do this? Do you want to pitch one at me and just convince me this is one we should do a whole backstory?
I actually have two here that I think would make a good pairing in movie all on their own. Very little
retconning needed.
There's a word to describe, not conjecture. That's just the word that I just said.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to make up a bunch of stuff to make this happen.
Okay.
So I'm going to pitch this one. I don't really know what the adventure would be. All I know is these two characters would be in it, and I want to see that movie, and it would be amazing.
The Further Adventures of.
So here's the other problem. Mm-hmm. I didn't look up their characters' names. And I'm also blanking on the actors' names.
Wow. How are you going to sell this to me?
By telling you the other characters they've played.
Do I need to Google this real fast?
No, okay. You'll know that you know them.
Okay.
Felicity.
Okay, so it's from Mission Impossible 3.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Her name. I don't want to keep calling her Felicity.
It's Carrie Russell.
Thank you, Carrie Russell.
Name.
Carrie Russell from Mission Impossible 3.
Mm-hmm.
She, in the intro, plays this awesome spy. She's awesome, and then she just dies.
Yeah. Oh God, it's so terrible when that thing, the bomb goes off in her head, and her eye just kind of goes to the side.
Yeah, it's a very well done scene.
It's upsetting.
But she was such an awesome spy. I wanted to see. I could have watched a whole movie of just her being an awesome spy. Right. Her being Ethan Hunt.
So Agent Lindsay Ferris from Mission Impossible 3.
Yes.
Okay.
And Josh Sawyer from Lost.
Josh
Holloway from Mission Impossible 4.
Okay, who also, he's Paula Patton's boyfriend, or she's in a relationship with him. He a job gets botched because he gets assassinated.
Yeah, because he is also a spy.
That's right.
And that entire intro, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I would watch a whole thing about this. So
he moves in. Carrie Russell's great. I'm glad. That's a good. But Josh Holloway in particular, he moves so confidently as an action hero spy in the two sequences we see him in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he could 100% we could see more of this guy.
Yeah.
Because just Josh Holloway as the actor did a really good job.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
give me more of this. Yeah. He played, let's see if I can find his character's name. So Lindsay Ferris from Mission Impossible 3 and Josh Holloway's character from Mission Impossible 4 in some sort of Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah.
So it's like a spin-off. This is like a Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah. Yeah. And it would be about some job that they're both on. I have no idea what it would be about, but it would be awesome.
Well, it would be awesome. My question would be, how do you differentiate their adventure from a standard Mission Impossible, right? So like when the Bourne Legacy came out, it was just, okay, well, we don't have Matt Damon, so we're going to do Jeremy Renner, and it's more or less the same thing. Just blah, blah, blah. Okay, then we'll go back to Jason Bourne. Is there a way to take these two agents in IMF and put them on some sort of adventure that's like that you couldn't easily just insert Ethan Hunt into? Or is there no point in doing that and just do a mission with the two of them?
Well, okay, I understand your point. However, let me ask, what did Hobbs and Shaw do that they couldn't have just put Dom Toretto in there?
A lot of very undertone sexual conversation between the two leads. Dom would never do that.
And now take all that and put that in this Mission Impossible.
He played Hanaway.
Yeah.
Josh Holloway played Agent Hanaway. There we go. In Ghost Protocol.
Juice Hanaway?
Josh
Holloway plays Juice Hanaway.
I do like those two characters. I don't know if you could build an entire movie on them that wouldn't just be a derivative of what we already got.
Okay. I guess I didn't think of that because I wouldn't mind having more of that genre of sort of the Mission Impossible
sure
brand of super spy.
I don't want, and I'm on board with these two characters as cool. Let's see more of them.
Sure.
And even going so far as they could exist under Michael's stipulations here, which is we get to see them before their death. So teaming them up before Lindsay Ferris dies, because she dies first, and then Josh Holloway's.
Like I said, I don't know what that would be about. I want to see that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what could it be about? I would want to tie it, right? You want to tie it into the franchise it's a part of. So I would in some way tie it to, I don't know, maybe there's a villain out there who's about to burn all of the IMF agents.
Okay, pretty standard. That's the knock list from the first movie.
And they're the ones assigned to it. I don't know why it doesn't go to Ethan. Ethan can't. I think that's the answer. Is Ethan can't do everything. Why is
okay? Let's imagine, because this is a prequel film, that this is essentially their first mission. That they've both been given their full agent status, and the two of them are teamed up to do a mission, and the mission goes south, and it's a matter of using their ingenuity to get out of it alive,
sure,
and survive. So, pretty. And you're right. Is for my money, the best action franchise right now is Mission Impossible, because despite the radical nature of some of the stunts, it is so much more grounded.
They're not jumping cars from building to building,
and they're not the very tired franchise that is the James Bond franchise. There's something fresh and exciting about what Tom Cruise has done with the Mission Impossible franchise, and keeps delivering. Yeah. 1996, that first one came out. And I think we might have talked about this on the show before, but it's worth mentioning. Could you imagine that this would still be going all these years later, decade and a half later, and the movies would keep getting better? Not many franchises can pull that off. Yeah. So more of that, yes.
So what I'm thinking about is, I don't remember exactly what was happening in Mission Impossible 2.
Mission Impossible 2. So Ethan is in Australia. There's the Chimera virus, which was stolen by Dougray Scott, who is a rogue agent from IMF, who is going to release it to infect the populace.
So the first thing the first place I would go to mine for ideas on what this movie could be about is have them running a parallel mission.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. A parallel mission to 2. Well, the first cut of 2 was over 3 hours long, and they made him get it down under 2. So there's a lot of movie missing.
Yeah. That'd be my first idea, right? That way 2 happens, they have their successful mission. We're like, yay, we met these new people who are unsung heroes of Mission Impossible 2 because they did things that were important to even getting it done, and then into 3 and 4 we see them die. Oh no!
Oh no! And then you're sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. More Mission Impossible. Cool. We could certainly do an entire episode coming up with Mission Impossible. We'll say that for another day. I want to pitch a character at you.
Okay.
Which might not. I think it still fits under the stipulations here, under the demands. Okay. This is a character who died off screen.
Oh.
We had just gotten to know him. Okay. And then he died off screen. Uh-huh. And it's like, what the hell? Oh, probably because the actor didn't want to come back and didn't like the screenplay. But let's just not worry about that right now. And that is Mr. Daryl Hicks from Aliens into Alien 3.
Oh.
He dies, as well as Newt, in the pods when Ripley crashes in Alien 3.
Well, I mean, he wanted to come back just for more money.
Money, yeah. But here's my pitch on Hicks.
Yeah.
And we could do a whole Alien episode, but I would like to suggest that he is awakened in between 2 and 3 and has a whole adventure that ends with him mortally wounded and crawling back into his pod and sealing before going back into cryostasis. And then we open up 3 with the pods crashing. So then that way he didn't just die like a fool in some crash.
Sure.
No, he had a whole separate adventure, alien related. I mean, if you want him fighting predators, I don't care.
All, dying like a fool in a crash, that I think frames people
like
who are like passengers who die in crashes. Like, what a bunch of dummies. They should have grabbed the wheel.
He waited his whole damn life to take that flight. And as the plane crashed down, he thought, well, isn't this nice? Jim, isn't it ironic?
Don't you think?
Don't do it. Someone else just sang the rest of it. Thank you. So I'm suggesting a Hicks spin-off movie that takes place between 2 and 3.
I'm having deja vu. Have you actually pitched this at me before?
I may have pitched this at you before.
Okay.
I may or may not have.
Well, the thing is, so I've heard it.
Okay.
The audience hasn't heard it.
Well, just no. I'm making this up on the spot.
I mean,
ruining the illusion.
I've never heard this either.
I will admit, yes, this is an idea that I've had before, and this just is giving me an opportunity to talk about Deadlands. So what I'm doing. That's an inside joke for everyone who's listened to this podcast.
He means me. I'm the one who talks about Deadlands.
I have pitched the idea of a Hicks spin-off movie between 2 and 3 before. Do you think that would hold? Like, do you think there's something there?
I'm sure it would. Neil Blomkamp had it a whole. I think he had a variant 3, not a like a insert movie.
What was it? A ignore everything that came after 2 kind of 3? Like that's been the new tradition of Hollywood.
Yeah. That way, because he had Ripley, Hicks, and Newt all in the movie.
The thing is that we have reached a point now where you can de-age these people pretty easily.
Sort of. There's still
it's not perfect.
A lot of people are saying like, oh yeah, we can totally do it. Everyone's forgetting the amount of uncanny valley there is.
It's still not there because you have stuff like Luke in Mandalorian or Tarkin in Rogue One, Leia and Princess Leia in Rogue One, and Michael Biehn is unrecognizable now.
Yeah.
He was in The Mandalorian and you told me he was in it. And I said, where? And you said he fought Mando. And I'm like, he did. I looked it up and said, yep. Wow.
That's him.
He's lived a hard life.
Well, he died.
He crashed like a fool. But here's the thing is, do you think there's enough of Hicks already? Like he has a full story arc in 2.
So I feel like it does well. It matches most of the demand, except that like he did have a full story in 2. Mm-hmm. He didn't have a poignant, meaningful death in 3.
Right.
So in that way, it matches. It's at the beginning of 3. So,
and then
you might be able to do something.
Then the question is like, who do you match him up with? But
that becomes harder, right? Like that becomes the whole, okay, we got to pluck them out of time and space and
their world into another world.
Yeah,
so
they fight crime.
Great website.
To that end, Hicks could be the main character. What came to mind as you started saying is do a prequel film to Aliens that follows the Marines,
Okay.
in which we see them go on an earlier bug hunt. They're not going after xenomorphs. They're fighting some other aliens. And
Hey, if
right,
there's something,
because in the dialogue in the beginning, I think it's Hudson who even says, "Is this another bug hunt?" Suggesting this universe is full of all kinds of aliens that they send Space Marines to go and shoot.
I wish that the alien universe would allow us to see more than 2 aliens.
No, that's all you get.
I like that. Like,
but then with that, what I would do with that plot is it would be something where the Marines go and they somehow go off mission in a way that humiliates either the military or the company that hired them for that, that gets this platoon, this squad assigned to an expendable job,
the mission,
unbeknownst to them.
Yeah, that would probably make a really cool short prequel comic, short prequel film, animated or otherwise. If we using the magic of time and space to be like, no, they filmed this. Yeah, I'd be all about that. But I don't know. Let's go to another character on your list. What do you got?
So the next two, or let's see here. The next one on my list is Andy Serkis as the chef from King Kong.
King Kong. You picked some interesting choices here.
I thought he was great. I loved that crew in general, but culminating with that character, there's so much character.
Andy Serkis brings so much to the roles he plays.
Yeah, he does.
Even in 13 going on 30, he plays the boss character in the job that Jennifer Garner has. And I have questions about him. He's got an earring. He's wearing a lot of rings. What's with all the jewelry? What is it? What's this guy's deal? But what would you do with Cookie the Cook from King Kong?
I really just made a list of, I didn't have ideas. I just made a list of people I wanted to see more of.
So you're putting it on me.
Well, I thought the whole idea was I pick one and you pick one and then they go fight crime.
So Andy Serkis's Cookie Cook from King Kong and Daryl Hicks hook up and fight bugs.
Yep.
They both fought bugs.
They did.
They both fought bugs.
And,
Andy Serkis dies pretty horrifically.
He does.
You know what's the most chilling part of that section of King Kong? There's no score. It's just sound effects.
Yeah.
And it just makes it all the more unsettling that these centipedes and millipedes are just ripping these people apart.
Yeah.
Oh, bleh.
God, I loved that scene.
Okay.
What that adventure would be, I'm not exactly sure.
We are creating we have a potential to create something here.
Okay.
Do you know the premise of the show DC's Legends of Tomorrow?
Vaguely, yeah.
Okay, so Rip Hunter selects a bunch of people from time and makes a team on them, and then they travel and fight crime together, right? So we could have a spaceship that has plucked 2 IMF agents, Daryl Hicks, the space
just
marine,
everyone we
and
name.
Cookie the Cook is the cook on the ship, and we have like a Firefly type scenario where they're traveling time and space, fighting crime. Who stars in this movie? Those 4 people, like the biggest name right there is Andy Serkis.
Yeah, yeah. And the cook being a main character is very strange.
He's just the cook.
Yeah,
he's just the cook.
Yeah. I mean, Steven Seagal was just the cook.
Oh God. All right. Funny enough, I made a note that literally anyone from an Alien or Predator movie would be worth let's see more about. You have a bug hunt with an Alien 2 prequel. You could have a Predator prequel with the team of meatheads.
Sort of. The thing is that was set on Earth in the modern day. So they couldn't encounter like an alien or something. We could see them do like a cool
Contra
mission. Delta Force kind of movie.
Right. Because the last thing you want to do is release a film where you establish a character has never experienced the monster of the movie and then do a prequel about that same character. Who would ever do that? That would be so the Army of Thieves.
I know that's the one you're going for, but the thing is actually too many prequels do that. Now I can't name a single
It's funny.
one. Damn it.
It's funny because the Black Widow poster is behind you on the wall there.
Yeah.
And there's been enough complaining from idiots who are like, too little, too late. Why do we need to see her story now? The same people who like Star Wars prequels. And it's like,
yeah,
look, You can't hate one and like the other. If
Watch me.
Okay, you can. You can. I'm sorry. Fair enough. Okay.
You're right. The logic isn't there though.
Well, speaking of Andy Circus,
Yes.
I have a character I would love to see more of.
Speak to me about Andy Circus.
I would like to, and I'm going to.
Do it.
Claw and Killmonger are two characters that we get, cool stuff with in Black Panther. And Claw is also in Age of Ultron. But those two characters are so ripe with potential. Again, Andy Serkis brings so much to a character.
I felt bad saying, but I want to see more of the white guy.
Well, no, because Claw and Killmonger had worked together for some time. They clearly had done stuff together before.
I thought Killmonger worked with him undercover. He wasn't actually Killmonger when working for him.
Yeah, he did. Like there was a lot of subterfuge happening but no, Claw knew that Killmonger knew where Wakanda was. That's why he knew that he wanted to find Wakanda because Claw knew where it was. Okay. And so they were working together. So I'm suggesting seeing more of those two in some sort of, like, for example, so Black Widow takes place after Civil War, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And before Infinity War, we get to see her get her vest and get her ship. And then we don't see her again until she pops up in Infinity War chronologically. There's no reason. And I think they built it this way. There's still time to do another Black Widow movie in there, in that time period. And so because that time period is still unexplored, there's no reason to say that Claw and Killmonger couldn't be the villains in that time period. Not necessarily
in another Black Widow movie.
Sure. But or another character in the Marvel Universe that takes place pre-Infinity War.
Ooh. I don't know exactly, but I'd put more villains in there.
Yeah.
That would then die off and be like, but we want to see more of them. And then they would get their
they
own
would get a spinoff. You get a spinoff. You get a spinoff. So a Killmonger and Claw movie was something that I was like, well, I just love those two actors. I love those two characters.
And they did an amazing job as those characters.
Yeah. I do have another Marvel character on here. Pietro Quicksilver from Age of Ultron. I don't know what more you would do with him, but
so his death was an interesting one because, right, like most of it was like, who cares about this character? Who cares? Like, this doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The other Quicksilver is so much better.
Yeah.
And then he dies, and you're like, no, but he was the best. I didn't get to know anything about him.
More about Pietro. So I just thought, is there more to do with Quicksilver? And honestly, I'm surprised we haven't seen him come back. And all signs pointed to him coming back. WandaVision really messed with everything.
Yeah, they did.
So I was surprised I think we got flashback, like, glimpses of him from Age of Ultron footage, but we didn't actually see Aaron Taylor Johnson playing Quicksilver again. And and this is a dumb choice because I don't know, Aaron Johnson there wasn't enough for him to bring to that character. Wanda was the more interesting character.
That's what I mean, right? Like, there was it who cares? And then he died, and it was like, but now I care.
Yeah. Well, I have another secret agent type character on here.
I don't.
I do. Okay, here we go. Maggie Q's Mylin from Die Hard 4. She's Timothy Olyphant's like right-hand woman. She kicks the shit out of John McClane till he hits her with a car and shoves her down an elevator shaft.
I mean, that scene was cool, but I did not care about her.
Well, the thing is, Maggie Q's awesome. She has protege out right now that I'm interested in seeing. She's physically capable of kicking ass, right? Could she be who goes up against your two IMF agents? Could there be?
So you want to put Die Hard in the
Mission Impossible
universe?
Timothy Olyphant's character, even if you want to rope him in, but like it's the IMF agents versus Maggie Q and Timothy Olyphant.
Well, I mean, that means they lose because the bad guys have to get away.
It's true, but they could always be. Oh yeah, they do have to get. Well, this is the problem with prequels, Jim. It's because you know how what the results are. This is always the challenge of a prequel is that how do you put enough tension and
you have to craft other villains and obstacles for them to overcome, and that's okay. That I think you
Sure,
can
sure.
do that.
I'm not anti prequel because some of the best stuff overcomes that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh well, I know this character's safe, and I know this character's safe, but I don't know this character, this character, this character.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to see Timothy Olyphant's Thomas Gabriel computer hacker versus the IMF agents.
Not particularly.
Not particularly.
If anything, if you really want to get them involved, I would put them in the spy movie as they were actually IMF agents.
Oh, okay. So like
who
Maggie
then
Q
at the end
is
go
traitor.
rogue.
Yeah, I like that. Huh. Okay. Different genre. Now, technically, we do have.
So I got two more.
Oh, you got two more. Let's you feed me one.
So this one I think does violate most of the rules because Michael gave the example of what does not fit.
Right.
And so I think this actually does not fit because the character died a very poignant death when he did.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought Muldoon in Jurassic Park was awesome.
Oh, clever girl.
Yeah, he was the best. He understood how the dinosaurs worked, and then they got one up on him. And the thing is, so I'm gonna violate the entire studio demand. I don't even care. I want to tell this story. I want you to imagine Jurassic World. Instead, Muldoon survives, and instead of getting some new guy, Muldoon is the guy in charge of security.
You're right, because Owen. Owen, Chris Pratt's character, is basically
a new Muldoon.
A new Muldoon.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or you could even have both of them, right? Like Muldoon actually survives a mauling, so he's all like scarred and grizzled.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nope. Now I'm remembering too much about a different story we actually pitched. I like Muldoon. I didn't want once he died. I was like, no.
Having a character like Muldoon, who I guess you could take him and escalate, or elevate, exasperate other E words.
Yeah.
To him being a Kraven the Hunter style, like expert, hunter type character, and then pitting him against killing a thing, him versus the Predator or whatever.
Ooh,
clever girl. Oh, a female Predator. Muldoon versus a female Predator. Has there ever been in cinema a female Predator? I don't believe there has.
So,
or are they all female?
The Predator canon gets weird. Like, I think at one point it was suggested that they were all female, but alien physiology doesn't look like how human physiology does, which is why it looks like big triangle-shaped men. But then, like, maybe they're not. I think in the movies they never are. I think that's only, like, the comics.
Fine. Well, but we're going there. Female Predator versus Muldoon from Jurassic Park.
There you go. Jurassic Hunt?
That sounds a little too much like Jurassic Cunt.
Oh, I see what you did.
I said Jurassic.
And then you said it.
And then I said Hunt, but I said it real tight.
You got to pay the troll toll if you want to get in that boy's soul.
Muldoon's a cool character, though. Like, I know.
But his death was purposeful, and he had a whole lot of movie. I just wanted to say Muldoon on this episode.
Well, there's another character who has a very poignant and well done death.
Okay.
But a character that had a whole lifetime before that we never have gotten to see. We've only got to hear about. Only got to heard about Sirius Black.
Okay.
Sirius Black fought in the first Wizarding War against Voldemort, along with they're called it's the Marauders era is how it's canonized amongst fans. Sirius Black has a very poignant and good death. He did spend all that time in Azkaban, but we have to believe that he was out there wizarding it up during the first Wizarding War. So much so that the thing is that he'd be a teenager based on the timeline out of Hogwarts and into, because he was 21 when Harry died. Sirius Black was 21. Harry's parents were 21 when they died.
Oh, okay. So
that's skewed by the films because they cast such older looking adults to play.
So Gary Oldman was 33.
Yes.
When
he's freed from Azkaban. Remus Lupin, 33.
Yeah, well, jail does do.
This is a hell of a thing, man.
Yeah.
But Sirius has all those tattoos. He was a very cocky, competent wizard, as we are to understand through the mythology and and what J.K.
Sure.
Rowling has told of us. But a young Sirius Black film, a Marauders era Sirius Black.
Sure.
Not Gary Oldman couldn't play the part. We'd have to go Fantastic Beast style, where it's like we'll get a younger actor to play this part, but more of that era of the Wizarding World. It's not Fantastic Beasts is 30s into the 40s so far, and Harry Potter as we have it is the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be like the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
In the Wizarding World, what would that be like?
Huh.
Right. And so
it would be just like the Muggle world, but with magic.
This is true. But Sirius being a roguish Han Solo-esque.
So this is going to be your Solo of the Harry Potter world.
Yeah. And to see Sirius Black out there, and there'll be like people out there. There's one of the Instagrammers I follow that does Harry Potter fan art, always ships Remus and Sirius as a couple. Would be like, oh, well, make that happen.
Actually, so thinking about the reason I think that would actually be a lot of fun to watch is because Sirius was also the black sheep of his family. They're like, we're all evil, and Sirius is like, so I'll wear the leather, but I'm not going to be bad.
Yeah.
And so you get the whole bad boy aesthetic, like, I'm badass, but I'm gonna do it for good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which is a very Han Solo kind of thing.
Making him this, like, even in the flashback we get in Order of the Phoenix, where Sirius is like, I'm bored, James. Why don't you go pick on Sirius for me, or Snape for me? Like, he has this very pampered, rich boy, affluent lifestyle. And Remus tells us that James grew out of his childish ways. He grew up and became a man and became an adult, took on responsibilities. Sirius did as well. And Sirius, what he was willing to sacrifice to go to prison.
I got to point out the math there.
Yeah.
So they were like 15 when that happened.
Yeah.
And then they died at 21.
Yeah. How much could they have changed?
They grew up in that 6 years is enough time to grow up, but
war does things, man.
All right. I remember being 15 and I remember being 21, and while I was very different, I don't know if I would say I grew up.
Well,
but maybe I'm the exception. Maybe I'm the man child.
Okay. Well,
that's
probably very accurate. Yeah. So Sirius Black is another option there.
Sure.
I have two more.
I have one more.
Oh no, I have three more. What do you go ahead?
So this is another one. It was actually a death late in the movie, and I know they thought it was poignant and meaningful, and I hated it.
Okay.
Matthew McConaughey's character from Reign of Fire.
Fire axe through the dragon mouth.
he tries, and then the dragon just gets him. Yep. Like his death served the purpose of showing that you're not going to beat the dragon that way.
Well, now we know,
because he didn't distract it like for the other characters to do a thing. He didn't injure it in a way that was beneficial to the remaining characters.
He just got gobbled up like a chicken McNugget.
Yep.
A Matthew McNugget.
Yep. McConaughey Nugget. McConaughey. Yeah. He's already got the whatever. So that character, and the thing is, that character was so awesome.
And the world,
I loved it.
We got helicopters. We're dive bombing dragons in the sky.
Right. So his prequel would basically be, it would be about them. It would start. You see them in the U.S. kill like 3 or 4 dragons, and like and they're like they get their clue that they got to go back to Britain because that's where the fucking main one is. And so then it's their trip across the ocean and the troubles of doing that in a world that's been taken over by dragons and modern conveniences like safe shipping lanes is gone.
Yeah.
I think that could be really cool.
He comes with a cool setting.
He does, yeah.
Right. Like having more of that character of just dragon fighting Matthew McConaughey gives you a world where dragons are being fought.
Yeah.
And not like a fantasy world, a modern setting, helicopters, machine guns.
Yeah.
And
honestly, even if you wanted to pluck him from there and put him somewhere else, he actually brings so much character. Like pull him from the modern world and drop him in Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings or something, and he would be such a strange force introduced into those worlds.
I like where I like this. I like that. This is a good one. This is a good one that I want more of. Funny you should say Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Oberyn Martell had a very significant death in that series.
It was very significant. And he was such a cool character. You're like, no, but I didn't get to meet him. Quicksilver, no.
So his face was crushed so badly, he only wears a helmet now. Because he's it's Mandalorian.
Oh,
it's Pedro
Pascal. Oh, I see. Okay, I was about to correct your.
No, he's dead. He's significantly dead. Okay.
Crap! Oh, sorry, you mentioned Mandalorian. That gave me an idea for another one. No one wants to see this but me. I think it would be a lot of fun to see a prequel Star Wars movie. With God, the Rodian. Why can't I?
Greedo?
Greedo, yes. I would watch something about Greedo. Nobody else likes Greedo. Nobody. I like Greedo.
You like the old canon legacy backstory that the whole reason
I thought it was neat. It doesn't have to be that.
Han Solo took his girlfriend and his vest.
Yeah.
Okay. We've rattled off a lot of people.
Oh, all the best stories are about getting jackets.
That's true.
So it's
how else? Black Widow.
Wolverine Origins.
There you go. One more character I'm going to throw out, and then we got to take a quick break here.
Okay.
And it's the character of Nash, played by Lucas Haas in Inception. He is the original architect.
Oh.
And he screws up their mission and gets dragged away on a helicopter, never to be seen again. And they don't seem to be too broken up about that. But his job was what Ariande ends up doing, which is crafting the world. Like, he builds the mazes.
The architect.
Yeah, he builds the mazes. He builds the labyrinth that they insert people into, and he gets dragged away. What he comes with is the setting, a world where you can enter dreams. So,
yeah.
Okay, we've listed a whole bunch of characters here. What I want to do is I want to take a quick break here, and let's come back and figure out which pairing to do, which setting to go with.
No.
Yeah, you okay with it? That's why I'm giving us a break.
Yeah.
We can stretch our legs and get some cool air on our faces. But let's just take a moment here because I want to throw one at you. I think I have one I want to throw at you. It's one of your characters, one of mine.
Okay.
So we'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah. So listen to this quick commercial break from 6.5 Media, and we'll be right back.
Jake, have you ever been looking for a definitive Nintendo ranking and can't seem to find it because it's just everybody's own opinion?
Honestly, all the time, Sam.
Well, I'm looking for someone to give us the answers.
Wait, you mean like a podcast made by two young, handsome men where they create a definitive top 5 list of all things Nintendo?
Should we just do it ourselves?
Yeah, that sounds fantastic.
Let's give it a shot. I'm Sam.
And I'm Jake.
And at Top 5 Nintendo, I'm going to give you my top 5 list.
And I'm going to give you my top 5 list.
And then we're going to duke it out and see what the real top 5 is.
1 heist. 6 plots for betrayal. When Raya Cautela cons 5 other thieves into helping her steal a magical artifact from the most powerful man in the world, she knows she's playing with fire. What she doesn't know is that the rest of her crew is just as underhanded as she is, and they all have plans of their own. M.J. Kuhn's Among Thieves, a fantasy heist novel full of twists, turns, and betrayal, available beginning September 7th wherever books are sold. Visit mjkuhn.com for more details.
And we're back. May I share an irrational fear with you?
Yes.
Whenever I use the facilities, I lock the door because I have an irrational fear of someone walking in on me while I'm going to the bathroom.
Huh.
I know it's silly. That's silly, right? Like, who's going to be like, oh, door closed. Sounds like someone's in there. Hey, how's it going? I'm going to pee all over the floor. It's
I mean it's fair. It's a fair fear. It happens every once in a great while. It happens. The thing is, it's usually people never see anything. Nothing comes of it.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's all it ever is.
Yeah.
And so it's
which is worse, being in a gas station bathroom and hearing someone like jiggle the handle while you're sitting there and you have to go, someone's in here, or the crack between the door and the frame in a bathroom stall in a public restroom, and then you make eye contact with someone, which is the worst
For me, honestly, it's the door jiggle.
The door jiggle, yeah.
Like everyone's like, they're all like, oh my God, the crack in the door. Everyone's like, the thing is, I've never encountered somebody who like looks in and like just keeps looking, because that's what the real fear is.
The fear is like, stop watching me. I'm sitting here.
What ends up happening is someone comes by, they're like, they try the door and like, oh, there's someone like they might accidentally glance through, but no one's like, I need to see. Can I identify that person? Like, no, who cares?
Well, no one.
Or maybe it's because my opinion of myself. If you really want to look in,
go
all
ahead.
right, this is what you're going to lengths to see.
Don't
like,
kink
whatever,
shame.
man.
Don't kink shame. Wow, what a great way to start Act 2.
Yeah,
I started it, but it's fine. Okay, I'm gonna throw two characters together and see what we can come with it.
Okay.
What is Matthew McConaughey's character's name in frickin' in Reign of Fire? Okay, so we're taking.
I mean, I wish you'd asked that. I would have gotten it ready
before
we started.
I should have asked before we started
Reign of
Act 2.
Fire.
Reign of Fire. Did I say Ring of Fire?
I don't know what you said.
Reign of Fire. There you go. Matthew
He
McConaughey.
plays
Denton Van Zandt.
yes.
Okay, so Denton Van Zandt and Sirius Black. We got dragons in both worlds.
Okay.
We got a melee weapon wielding human and a magic using pretty boy. I think, okay, so now we can I think plucking Van Zandt into the Harry Potter world makes sense.
I just had a really terrible idea.
What is your terrible idea? Throw this spaghetti at me.
So you put half of a D&D party together.
Okay,
You
so
got,
we
a fighter and
barbarian.
a wizard.
Oh, it's a fighter. Okay.
A fighter and a wizard, and then we could get our thief from one of the super spies. Right? That's our rogue.
Okay, so we
and
got
then our priest go grab the old man from Exorcist.
We got Van Zandt, the old man from The Exorcist, Sirius Black, and Carrie Russell's Lindsay Fenton from.
Yes.
No, that's our D&D party, folks. What?
And who are they fighting? Because it needs to match this whole thing.
Yeah,
Snoke.
they're. Oh, a guy who died before. Yeah, then we get his dumb backstory.
Yeah.
Oh, well, what universe are we putting these characters in? With Snoke being the bad guy, we have to put him in Star Wars. So
Yeah.
they got Van Zandt with an axe.
Yeah.
In space, no one can hear you scream at a
Well,
dragon.
I mean, the axe would end up being made out of
lightsaber.
Kyber
crystal.
Mandalorian
Oh,
steel.
Oh, sure. Beskar steel.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Sorry.
that's not the wildest thing in the world.
It's pretty wild.
I was
It's,
thinking much more.
Okay, tell me what you were thinking.
Well, you had glibly said
it's easy enough. It's easy enough to imagine the Harry Potter world being in the Reign of Fire world. The idea that dragons aren't going to obey the barrier wizards have put up between
Right.
muggles and wizards.
Yeah.
So the dragons just get loose. It's a whole scourge that hits both worlds. The wizards keep themselves hidden as the muggle world is
is
destroyed.
battling
And then
dragons.
Denton Van Zandt is all like, nah, figured out how to kill all of
kill
these
the
things.
dragons. Having Van Zandt and Sirius Black team up to take on a dragon horde, like a horde of
Yeah.
group of dragons. What is it? What's a group of dragons called?
Um,
A murder of dragons.
other people have given them names, and I don't like
So-
any of their suggestions.
Yeah, having them.
I think-
They're this unlikely
well,
team up because.
Clutch. I think that has to do with eggs, though.
But having the roguish, cool guy attitude of Sirius Black, he's sleek. He comes from money. He's well off, and this brute of a beardy, balded man swinging an axe around and jumping out of helicopters. Those two are unique enough that I think they make a good pairing, right? Particularly you got wizard and muggle. Not that I want to turn this whole thing into just we did another Harry Potter episode, but plucking them out of their universes into some sort of multiverse where dragons have broken free in our world. So they haven't destroyed. It's not an apocalyptic scenario. It's basically it's a similar scenario to Reign of Fire and Harry Potter's Wizarding World sort of mashing together.
Okay.
Is there
I'm
something?
in.
You're in. Okay. Episode over. Thank
Yeah.
you for listening.
Yep. Good job.
Yeah. Okay. I have one more thing on my list here. If you don't want to pursue any
No,
other
sorry. We
details,
can't, I spent too much time looking up
what a group of dragons.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Well, one person dubbed it a thunder of dragons. I don't
Mm.
care for that.
Okay.
Apparently, a number of fantasy origins, like really old ones, call them a weyr, W-E-Y-R. I don't care for that either.
Yeah.
And then in apparently Dragon Riders of Pern, they were called a flight or a flock.
Flock of
I don't like
flight
that
of
either.
It's just a group. It's just a big old group of dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah. But having a dragon hunt be the it's a small story. We don't have. It's a force of nature story because there's not a bad guy with a face that they can have monologues with while they fight them. They're literally going after a beast. So
see, I know you didn't. I actually really want to set it in the world of Rain of Fire.
so just pluck a wizard and drop them into.
No, I would mash the two together. The wizarding world would be that would be the wizarding world of Harry Potter, where Rain of Fire, we're seeing it from the Muggles' point of view.
It's just a fractured timeline from.
Why would
from
it
what
be a
exists.
fractured timeline?
Because the dragons literally destroyed the entire planet. The planet is destroyed. The dragons have destroyed the world, and there's just clusters of humans surviving.
The planet can come back. Humans can come back
If you're willing,
especially if any wizards survive.
you are willing to retcon the Harry Potter world to account for a devastated
So I
time
think
period of dragons.
actually I forget what year. I think Rain of Fire actually
Overlaps with Harry Potter, right?
Rain of Fire timeline.
I'm not saying I'm completely kiboshing the idea. I'm just pointing out the fallacy in what you're doing here. In that there's no they don't truly lock together. You can't put these two together without making some concessions. And so I'm more of the idea of sort of watering down the Rain of Fire universe to give us dragons running rampant, humans fighting them off, and wizards helping, and not inserting it into the actual timeline of Harry Potter. It just doesn't work out because Rain of Fire destroyed the world has just been destroyed.
Fine.
I mean, if you want a wizard in the Rain of Fire universe, we can make that magic happen.
Well, I mean, the reason I wanted to fit them both together is because I feel like if we're just plucking characters from one world and putting them in another world,
Right.
we can do that with anyone.
Sure.
Do you see what I'm saying? Why I
No.
was trying to fit the worlds together?
But you can't. It doesn't line up because Rain of Fire is a post-apocalyptic world. The world has been ruined by dragons.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen in Harry Potter.
It can.
How?
What do you mean how?
when-
By the dragons.
Okay, wait. When does Rain of Fire take place?
So that's what I was looking up, and that's why I'm acquiescing.
Because it takes place in the 90s?
Well, the movie is set in 2020, which means for several years, for actually I think 2 decades, the dragons have destroyed the world.
Okay.
So
I'm willing.
that is like all of Harry's adult life,
I'm willing to do that.
which is chronicled
Is
to 2019.
canon. I'll do this. The dragons appear the year after the Cursed Child. So then all the Harry Potter canon exists, and then the dragons show up. Problem here is no Sirius Black. Now you just have
Sure.
now you've just
he's
put,
dead. I see why
Yeah.
you're. I don't know why I'm making this hard. You said how it's done, and it's fine that way.
Well, okay. I'm gonna
Sorry. I'm getting like I'm dwelling on certain details, and I shouldn't.
That's all right. I can do one more scenario for a team up of dead characters who died too soon. Like we can say goodbye to the Wizarding World of Rain of Fire.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go one more thing here.
Okay, do it.
Every Sean Bean character.
Yes. I don't even know how, but yes, I love it.
It would be called Into the Beaniverse. And he's died many a times, but some sort of Into the Spider-Verse scenario where all these Sean Bean characters are plucked from their death moments and dropped together into. And the thing is, some of his characters have been villains.
Sure.
So some of the heroes and some of the villains, they get to work together and they destroy things.
It's it's amazing.
So we got he played a cleric in Equilibrium, so he knows gun kata.
Oh,
That character knows gun kata, right? Let's see. He died in Far North. He was just killed by the climate, so that's not a very exciting one. How about Crushed by Satellite? You got Alex Trevlin from GoldenEye.
Mm-hmm.
He was a 00 agent.
Nice.
Yeah. So we got. Let's see. He was killed by an anchor in Patriot Games, and that's not very fun. Buried alive. Lord of the Rings. We got Boromir.
Yep.
Right. Poor Boromir.
Yeah. Although Boromir would make a great ally to Ned Stark.
Yes, Ned Stark would definitely be on this list. He was beheaded, so Ned Stark and Boromir would definitely be a good team up.
Mm-hmm.
Are they essentially the same class? Fighter and barbarian. Well,
the thing is, Ned Stark is more of like a strategic commander, and Boromir is definitely a leader of men type thing. They're both cut from the same cloth.
okay. So what if Alex Trevlin is our villain and his cleric from Equilibrium recruits Boromir and Ned Stark?
Yes.
So it's a gun kata.
So the cleric is the Gandalf of the Beaniverse. He's all like, we must fight.
We must fight this evil secret agent who turned rogue and now is using a satellite called GoldenEye to attack the planet and hold it captive. He has died in other things, but like of his genre characters, it's hard to like, he was, like I said, Patriot Games, or he's buried alive in Don't Say a Word.
Well, yeah, all of these would be supporting characters.
It's just all these human characters,
Yeah.
right? He was hanged by a clone in The Island. So we have clone.
Wasn't he the bad guy in that?
Yes, I think so. But we do have access to clones now. If we said it in the Island verse, we are cloning Sean Bean, or the character Sean Bean played in The Island, and creating Ned Stark, a cleric from Equilibrium.
Wow.
Boromir. Sean Bean hasn't died nearly as often as one would believe. He's had a very lengthy career of surviving.
Yeah.
But
What's
going
that movie? Oh, it's a video game. Oh, neat.
He's in Silent Hill, but I don't think he dies. I think he dies in the second Silent Hill.
I think technically, if you're in Silent Hill, you're dead.
You're already dead. Okay. But as far as the stipulation from Sullivan about characters who are dead that we wish we could see more of.
He was I don't even remember. He was in Jupiter Ascending.
Oh, I don't remember that.
I'm pretty
at all.
sure he died in that.
So Space Bean.
Yep.
Space Bean. I don't know. Alex Trevlin versus two medieval swordsmen and a gun dude.
Yep. That's pretty good, actually.
But they all have the driving skills of Sean Bean from Ronin.
Did he didn't die in Ronin. That's why I didn't bring it up.
Yeah.
He was a faker that
Robert De Niro calls him out. He shames him for being a
Oh, that was a character that I wanted to bring on to the episode was Robert De Niro's character from Brazil. He plays a rogue heating and air conditioning repairman named Tuttle. And what kills him is paperwork.
He dies by paperwork.
Literally, he's walking the street. He finished a job and he's getting away, and this wind blows through the streets, and all of these papers start blowing up, and they stick to him. He's like and then more and more stick to them, and all of this paper gets all over him. And he's covered in paper, and then all the paper blows away, and he's gone.
Where'd he go? He died by paperwork.
He died by paperwork.
Oh my gosh, that poor Robert De Niro character from Brazil.
God, I love that movie.
All right. Well, the best pitch we have right now, besides the Sean Beaniverse, is a dragon hunter and a wizard.
Yeah.
Or I mean, if you want to go to Nash's, go to the Inception universe, we have a character who can craft dreams. So then we could set. Okay, that's how you that's how you can meld worlds.
Honestly, I think the movie that we've pitched so far this episode that has the best legs is the MI3 MI5
team
movie.
Up between Lindsay Ferris and Hanaway.
Yeah,
the Mission Impossible movie. Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
in my opinion,
who's their villain? Did we decide who?
We did not decide who their villain was.
Could it be Alex Trevor?
It could be.
Okay.
I was trying to concoct a plot that ran parallel to Mission Impossible 2. So that their efforts in their movie
pay out. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern style. Yeah. What about this? Let's take Lindsay Ferris and Hanaway and pit them against Trevlin in his GoldenEye plot. Like remove Bond. Bond's gone. Like that. Just Trevlin is an agent who has access to has stolen the GoldenEye satellite, is going to use it to attack, and just put those two action spy characters through the scenario of GoldenEye.
Okay.
Well, I guess that's it. That's my pitch. Just remake GoldenEye with those two instead of James Bond. Sorry, that's all I got. So, boy, I'm selling scripts left and right today, folks. This is an interesting assignment to.
So thinking about the Reign of Fire Sirius Black one, I think what I would do to make that work for my money, I would try to intimate that Sirius Black is taking on some kind of Merlin role. And that's sort of why, he's trying to figure out how and why he's appeared in this world.
Oh, okay. So let's. Oh, okay. Now I know this diminishes the effect of what happened to Sirius in Harry Potter. Mm-hmm. That's what's on the other side of the veil, because he goes through the veil that basically kills him, and he goes to the afterlife without his body. Like everything is gone. He falls through the veil, and now Gary Oldman gets to play Sirius Black in the Reign of Fire universe. And so where did the dragons come from? Oh, they always existed. They're just underneath the world. No, the dragons have actually crossed into this Muggle multiverse world.
Okay.
And now have run rampant because there's no wizards to stop them.
Yeah.
And so now Sirius is like, what else from my world has leaked into this pocket universe? And Muggles are obviously... This proves to me how important wizards are to Muggles, whether they know it or not, because we protect them from this magic sort of thing. And we've got Van Zandt? What?
Denton Van Zandt.
Van Zandt is like the most competent dragon slayer on the planet with his team. Sirius is going to want to team up with that guy.
Yeah.
And then you're right, solve the question of like, why is he here and why the dragon's here? It's not just about killing the dragons. It's making sure that they've never come back and that this portal is closed. Now we got a scenario here. We got a purpose for both, for Sirius in particular.
Remind me, why did Sirius go to prison?
He was framed for the murder of Lily and James.
Sweet.
And
thank you.
He
just needed to be reminded.
He was the secret keeper. He was supposed to be the secret keeper. Peter Pettigrew was instead. So Sirius said, don't tell me because I'm the obvious choice. Tell him. Peter betrayed the Potters to Voldemort.
Okay, so I can't tie it into him going to prison.
So then Voldemort killed James and Lily, and Sirius figured it out, went after Peter, attacked Peter, killed Peter, and a bunch of Muggles died in that explosion as well, and he just sat there laughing, realizing his error and what he had done, and he was whisked away to Azkaban. So this is a Sirius who's already lived through prison, was this close to having a whole relationship with his godson and making up for all the mistakes he made that ruined his godson's life and his best friend and his wife and his best friend's wife's lives. He's not ever going to get a chance to make up for those mistakes because he's been transported to this whole other world. So he doesn't just have a stake in solving this dragon problem. He has a stake in getting home, getting back to Harry.
Sure.
So that's some good motivation. That's some good character stuff to play with.
Yeah.
What's Van Zandt stuff? What do we do with him?
All his stuff.
He's I haven't seen Rain of Fire in like 15 years. So
so he's very much
he's just like fight or die. Like,
yeah. He's very much he's a man on a mission, and he doesn't accept anyone else's way of doing anything. And I think to show how and why that is, you need to see all of his people dying around. Like he starts with an army that's whittled down to
his elite team.
The team that he shows up with.
I'm choking on spit right now. Not COVID. Does Sirius entering into the Reign of Fire universe create a fracture in the timeline as we get it, or is Reign of Fire still going to play out the same way?
I would like it to still play out the same way.
So Van Zandt still dies by dragon.
But again, that's me trying to fit the two universes together and stuff like that.
So far, we've figured out a way to get them together.
Yeah.
But now that my question is there something more to be gained by not letting Van Zandt die by dragon? Maybe he survives in the damn thing's stomach or something and comes out, and we get to see the further adventures of him.
Oh, you're saying afterwards?
I'm just throwing out. I'm asking, do we want to try to keep his story intact, or do we want to insert Sirius's adventure into here and then continue Reign of Fire as is? Like the end of this Sirius Black Van Zandt movie is the beginning of Van Zandt's appearance in Reign of Fire. Is that what you
I
want
would
to
say
do?
that. Yeah, I would say the end of this movie is Denton and his crew going to England.
Okay. So what is so Sirius is our main character, Denton is our supporting character.
How dare you? Yeah, okay.
Well, because we have to maintain his status quo. We can do whatever we want with Sirius.
Sure.
But Van Zandt, he has a destination.
Yeah.
So
we can do anything short of killing him.
Sure. Well, you had suggested him losing his team, whittling it down to his last force.
Because he'd have a whole, theoretically, a whole military available to him.
So what causes them to die?
The dragons.
It's just dragons. Are we going to have any other magic in here besides Sirius?
No. So
no other like magical artifacts have crossed into this world. It's just the dragons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In the effort to maintain the Reign of Fire storyline, yes. Because I was thinking what if he blesses his axe or something? Well, why did that blessing fail him at the most important moment?
Sure. Never fight a dragon head on. That's all. This will work for you if you always come from above. If you always attack from above, because that was the method. Van Zandt's method was to fly over the dragons and jump down.
Well, and drop a net on them.
Yeah.
The net would crash them to the ground, where they would then cut their heads off.
So Sirius enchants the axe and just says, never attack it straight on. Never dive straight at a dragon's mouth. That's what he says.
It would be something. Well, if you want to enchant the axe, it would be the axe can cut through dragon scale.
Okay.
Just because you jump at the dragon and can cut through its scales doesn't mean that it's not going to eat you up.
It's too late. He saw everything. He ate you up. Okay, so Sirius shows up with a lot of questions. He's our main character. Are we going to let Sirius go back through the veil and we don't get to see what happens?
Yeah.
Because then because of the way it's crossing time and space, we're suggesting a number of things. If he can find a way home, essentially he has to give up on trying to defeat the dragons. He more or less selfishly decides the only way I'm getting back is alone. I'm not ending your dragon problem. I'm sorry. Is there a way to make that noble? To be like,
yes.
The answer is always yes. What is a way to make that noble?
I don't know.
It could be Van Zandt being, if they find the source of the dragons, where the break in reality was. It could be a matter of we can shut this, but that's it. Once it's shut, So you need to go through now. No, I need to stay here and help you. That's a terrible Gary Oldman. I need to stay here and help you. You can't defeat these things. Yes, I can. I don't care how many people have died to get to this point. We will stop these dragons. Go back through the veil. Go back to your nephew. And Sirius has to leave Van Zandt behind.
I don't. Maybe the whole notion of going back through the veil, getting back to his nephew. I think that's not a thing that's going to happen. Death is a definitive thing, even in the Harry Potter world.
Right.
So,
There's no knowing that going back through the veil will bring him back to life. It's just the possibility he has to take it. Because you're right. Because
what I was going to suggest instead is not Dementors, but what if there are things like that, some sort of Reaper that gathers souls and guides them to their next.
Okay.
And so, in being shuffled off of the mortal coil, Sirius is like, "I'm a wizard." Nah. And so as he's going, he like ducks off to the side. He jumps off the path. That's how he ends up in the Reign of Fire world. So then for most of the movie, he's trying to dodge these Reapers.
Being chased by these Reapers.
And
okay, so
the end is just it's harder and harder to dodge them to the point that he no longer can. So he tells Denton, right, like as they're fighting dragons and learning about them and stuff, he's like, "You have to go to England. That's where they came from.
Yes.
You need to go there.
Go to England." Okay. And then eventually Sirius accepts that there is no going back and he needs to go on to the next world.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
There could be something there. I think it's a good character piece. It sort of has tinges of Logan, right? Logan being this like desperate and sad story of a broken hero who there is no other way for this to end.
Mm-hmm.
Death is the only way out here. And it's just going out as heroically as possible and as nobly as possible.
Sure.
Huh. Sirius Black. And you would suggest him being like a Merlin character. Did we segue off of that? Or are you still trying to maintain that?
I mean, he could really Merlin. It's about guiding a King Arthur to the truth that's necessary, which for Denton, it would be Denton going to England.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, the King Arthur character being not Denton, but Christian Bale's character.
Sure. Okay. So Sirius appears in this world, not knowing how he got there. I don't know about this. He goes through the veil and then like jumps off Pixar's Soul style, which is what happens.
I didn't see that.
That's okay.
Movie.
But I get your point about the definitive nature of death in the Wizarding world.
Mm-hmm.
That when he went through that veil, he definitively died. As opposed to what I'm suggesting is he went through that veil and tumbled into a pocket universe, and now trying to. Yeah,
I think him accidentally ending up in the world, I think, is okay. I don't like the idea of suggesting that when you die, you just end up in another weirdo world, which I guess is really just reincarnation.
It could be this.
I see.
There could be some sort of expository. This is why it happened. The circumstances in which he was Avada Kedavra and hit the veil at the same time, and there are worlds within worlds kind of thing. Having some sort of weird sisters, three witches, some sort of this is where you are now and you must journey back. Jacob Marley kind of expository ghost spirit type character that sets Sirius on his path. There's dragons here. Magic has crossed into this world that doesn't have wizards.
Honestly, I feel like that takes a lot of agency away from Sirius.
In which way? In this movie or in everything else he's ever been in?
In this movie.
Okay.
By saying this is what you must go by quantum leaping him,
mm-hmm.
essentially, into the Reign of Fire world.
Okay, so
what is it? What is it about? I mean, I just mean it abstractly as a path. I mean, it could be a number of things. What is it about him wrestling loose from some sort of warden or guiding spirit that what is it you don't like about that?
Why do you do it?
Because who wants to die?
Okay, and then what's his goal by doing it?
Getting away from death.
And go where?
Anywhere.
Yep, but this is not his world. Like
he's in the afterlife. He wants to get to any world. As far as he knows, there's only one world.
Mm-hmm.
He finds out there's more than one.
Okay. I suppose it just comes down to, well, what's his motivation once he's there? How he gets there, fine. I'm willing to to acquiesce to how he got there. Okay, he chose
Sure.
to jump off the path to the next world
Sure.
and took a side quest over here.
Yep.
Now what?
You're a wizard.
Yeah.
You've defied death.
Yeah.
And you've ended up in a different world.
Mhm.
This world is plagued by dragons,
I like
and
this.
humans are hiding from them.
Wizards don't exist.
What would you do?
Fight the dragons.
Okay. And that doesn't work?
Well, that is the quest, but like what does he hope to gain by this? Is it just fight till he dies?
What do you hope to gain by fighting the dragons?
Well, he has no reason to survive. He's got nothing here. There's nothing motivating him to live.
Except life. I think this is the difference. Why? What?
What is the purpose of his character? What is his motive? Why does he exist in this world, and where is he going? Why does Sirius exist?
You mean what's his story? His story is coming to terms with his death.
Okay, so
That's why, right, and that's represented by the Reapers chasing him and eventually getting him, and he needs to come to terms with it because they are continuing to chase him. They will catch him.
okay, so he's trying to outrun a death that's already a certainty.
Yes.
He meets a dragon hunter, or he seeks out a dragon hunter.
My idea is he would meet him.
Okay, so Sirius is running from death and just throwing himself headlong into fighting cool dragons because it's cool, which is fine. That's in his character. That's
Sure,
within
yeah.
Sirius's character to be like, this is badass.
I mean,
oh,
I think I imagine it not being, oh, I'm going to kill that thing because it's big and fiery. I think it would be more, oh, that big fiery thing is hurting those people. I will help them. I don't know why I said hurting the way I did, but
we also, he's not a magus too. He cannot, not only does he have a wand with magic that he can shoot shit with, he can also turn into a dog.
oh yeah.
That's an element of this. So then he meets Van Zant,
Mhm.
who's this badass dragon slayer without magic. He's
He's a very angry soldier. He is not yet a badass dragon slayer.
So
That is what happens in this story.
Sirius shows him how to fight dragons.
Yes.
And then as they're fighting,
Really, they would learn together because even though he's a wizard, he doesn't necessarily know how to fight dragons either.
Right.
Even in Harry Potter, that's a pretty specialized skill.
it is. It's a whole profession. Yeah. So then they work together.
That, sometimes 13-year-olds have to just do as one of 3 challenges.
He wasn't supposed to be in the challenge till he was 17.
17? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, he was 13, but
I
no,
thought
he was 14.
He was 11. I thought he was 11.
He's 14. He's 14. It's the 4th book.
Whatever.
Okay, so then Sirius and Denton team up. They fight dragons, and then how does Sirius's story end?
I've said it like 5 times.
I know you have to be more specific with me because just saying like, and then the Reapers come for him.
Yeah.
Are they fighting some big dragon in the end? And he's like,
Oh,
I can't
sure.
stay any longer. I'm sorry, I have to go. Did they develop some sort of bond that would result in a manly tear-felt goodbye?
No tears. Yeah, that aside from the tears, yeah, that sounds great.
And then he says,
yeah, there'd be some sort of big fight. Okay, so they are. They've figured out that they got to kill the king dragon,
Mhm.
the male dragon. That all of these are female, and they need to go kill the male to stop them from making more.
which
and
is in London.
that is in London.
Okay.
And so the culmination is a shipyard in the east coast of the
Okay.
U.S.
liking this.
So you get a bunch of dragons. They've upset a nest of these dragons,
Mhm.
and so they're attacking them as they're trying to get several ships out to sea. And Sirius being hounded not only by the dragons but also these reapers that no one else can see.
Mhm.
Ultimately ends up he gets separated from the rest of the team, the rest of the cast.
Yeah. I'll hold them off. Get on the ships.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, basically it's the I'll hold them off.
Yeah.
You get out of here.
Get to London.
So maybe as far as Denton knows, that's the last he sees of Sirius Black.
Okay. I want to add one more thing here that
Sure.
as just suggestion to help get to the point of that final revelation of get to London. That's where the King Dragon is.
Okay.
Because, okay, so when Sirius enters this plane of existence, if his memory is cottage cheese, I know you said not to use quantum leap, and I literally just used the quantum leap reference of Swiss cheese brain. But if he spends the movie knowing he's running from death, not quite remembering how he died, and trying to piece together little things so that eventually in the final moments of like, I know where the dragon is. You need to go to London, and now I'll hold them off. Go.
Oh, you think the revelation should just all be right there in the third act?
Like it all builds up to, it's not just we need to take out dragons, we need to figure out how to stop them. Sirius is also trying to understand what he needs to accept, which is he needs to die.
Sure.
So
I think they need
culminates.
to learn they need to go to London way earlier than that. That would be the whole reason they're going to the shipyard.
Okay. So then if this adventure starts in Chicago and they work their way to the East Coast to get to the boats.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. I'm in. All right. What do we call this movie? Rain of Goblet of Fire?
Rain of God. Yes. Yeah. Oh crap! I had one other. I had it. Oh, I had a thing, and it was going to be interesting. Oh, what was the thing? Sirius Black. Oh, the dragon. He as they're going, it's not just, oh, I'm a wizard and I know where there's dragons. The thing is, there's dragons all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
I think something about the details of the dragons. Now, maybe this is not the right idea. The dragon looks different and stuff like that. I'm going to suggest, hey, Sirius figures out this world doesn't have wizards. So that dragon egg would have never been picked up by some other wizard and lost in a game of, I don't remember what game they were playing, to Hagrid, who then hatched the dragon. So this dragon is the dragon that Hagrid hatched.
It's Norbert.
Yeah, I knew you'd remember that.
There you go. In this universe.
In this, Norbert is a terrible monster.
He's a Hungarian horntail. They're the most vicious of dragons.
And there you
That
go.
makes sense. Okay. Well, I think we're gonna end it there. We've been on a long journey here with our many characters whose journeys were cut short.
Yes.
But this was a fun demand. This was an interesting exercise of us just listing characters we like.
I think my favorite though is the Beaniverse.
Beaniverse.
I know we only named like 3 or 4 characters, but I'm imagining it looking like the scene where John Malkovich goes into John Malkovich's head.
He sees all the John Malkoviches.
Yeah, it's just just so many Sean Beans.
All the Sean Beans, all of them. So he had some show. I think it was called The Killing. I just remember an FX show. I don't know if it was The Killing, but I remember an FX show where the hashtag for the show was #Don't Kill Sean Bean.
I thought that was Game of Thrones.
No, it was after Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
I remember at Comic-Con one year down in San Diego. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for this episode. Michael, you have to let us know if we did what you asked. I think we figured out a way to make this work. I think we met all his demands. What are you giggling at over there?
Michael Bean shows up in the Beaniverse and he doesn't understand what he's doing.
Hicks shows up in the bin.
Yeah.
I love it. Please let us know, and anyone listening, hit us up if you agree, disagree, or think we completely missed something. I know one of our listeners was mad because I think it was the horror team episode where we kept about to go down a path and then we would segue away from it. And like, no, keep going. So let me just do the social stuff real quick. You can message us directly at studiodemandsit.com, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Studio Demands It. If you're not already, you can subscribe to us on Apple Music, Google Play, and Spotify. If you feel like giving us a little review, ask the folks to give us a review.
Give us, hey, friends listening, if you wouldn't mind, I wouldn't mind if you gave us a little review.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Even if it's a 1-star, it helps the algorithm. So love us or hate us, you're listening. So you've made it this far. Thank you. You can reach me, and through me, you can also reach Jim at TC's Big Head on Twitter and Instagram. And thank you to 6'5 Media for everything they do for us. We literally wouldn't exist without them. Our stories would be cut short if not for the story master that is 6'5 Media. So there you go.
Beautiful.
There you go. Anything else you want to say, Jim?
No.
No, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, as what we'll do tonight is when the mics stop, we're done talking. We can't talk to each other anymore. Our stories end here.
Our story. Oh God.
And if people want more stories from us, they have to demand it. Which will happen next episode with a new demand from a listener. You look very worried right now. Our stories aren't going to end when I stop the microphone.
But you said they are.
Nah, I was kidding. That's it for this
God.
episode. We'll be back again. So Jim's going to contemplate his existence as I end this episode. I am TC.
I need more time.
Who is this man? Someone tell me. And that's it for this. Well, that's it.
You just did it.
I'm done.